Hey, hello, geeks. This is the officially unofficial Geek Channel weekly comic roundup. As always, it's that time of week again. That time. I'm going to talk about the comics I read. Going to tell you what I think. Let me tell you, as always, this video is spoilerific. I had a hair in a weird spot. Okay. Spoilerific, spoilertastic, because it's Sunday. Let's talk comics. Let's talk about how we felt about them. Let's talk about them in detail as quickly as possible, because we got a lot here. There's a lot of annuals that I read. So I've got my tea. I've got some water at the ready if I need it. So let me tell you guys real quick about some stuff coming up on the channel. So obviously today we got the officially unofficial Geek Channel Weekly Comic Roundup Spoilertastic Edition. Tomorrow, I'm going to be posting a video about some recent, non-recent comics that I have picked up. I'm sorry, I had to take a second. My cat was doing something weird. So tomorrow, be on the lookout for that video. And then this Friday, I think what I'm going to do is I am going to be doing a live show this Friday at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. And basically what the show is going to be about, oh my god, that cat. The show is going to be about is it's going to be a special edition Fear State Batman, Gotham Comics, DC Comics, Fear State, in retrospect, in chronological order. I have been preparing for this all weekend, and I decided I'm going to do something special for you guys, and I'm going to make it a live show. So be on the lookout for that. If you are on the Facebook page, you will also hear about that there. And if you're not on the Facebook page, go ahead and check it out, actually. It is the OU Geek Channel page because Facebook wouldn't let me call myself the officially unofficial geek because they're lame. So yeah, okay, so right now we're doing the comic book review for this week, the Spoilertastic review. Tomorrow, check out the channel because we will have a, well, I guess we can call it a haul video of recent back issue pickups. Got some really awesome stuff to show you in there and to talk about. But then this Friday, 6:30 p.m. Central Time, we will be doing a live show, Batman Fear State event retrospective in chronological order. I'm excited to do that for you guys. Please, if you're hearing this, reading, if you're watching this, please make it a point if you're able to come be a part of the chat. I want to hear what everybody thought of what went down. So let's go ahead and get on with this week's comics. All right, like I said before, this is Spoilertastic, so if you have not read your comics, particularly DC Comics or Venom, please, if you don't like spoilers, pause this video, come back, watch it later after you've read all your comics, particularly DC Comics and Venom, because I'm going to talk about them. And I'm going to talk about things that happen in them. And come back after you're done reading your comics and go ahead and watch this. I mean, that is if you don't mind spoilers, you can stay. So, anyways, let's get into this. There was nothing in particularly that I disliked this week. I will say there were titles that were a little bit more stronger, art, story-wise, all that. And you're going to find out that those are going to be the issues that I talk about close to the end. Because the way I do it is I go from least to best. And that's just how I do it. So, this week we had a special anniversary giant from DC, the Gotham City Villains anniversary edition, and I splurged and I got this lovely Poison Ivy cover. Very lovely, very lovely. Let's see here. Can I figure out who did the art? Okay, variant cover by Marguerite Sauvage. Sauvage. Um, I'm guessing on that name. I'm usually not that bad at guessing pronunciation of names. And I'm sorry, guys. I keep on looking over the computer, over the camera, because my cats are playing on their jungle gym, and both of them are on there, and it's become slightly less stable over the last couple days, so we've been watching them. If one of them gets on it, it's okay, but both of them were climbing on it and being weird. Anyhow, so this is the Gotham City Villains Anniversary Giant. Now, here's the thing. If my understanding is correct, actually, Neil from Clyde's Comics told us that basically they did all the villains that had an anniversary ending in 0 or 5 in this edition. So it wasn't like any of the others, like where you have Wonder Woman, who was the 80th anniversary. You had, like, Aquaman, I think it was Aquaman, it had the 80th anniversary, that kind of thing. So it wasn't like that. It was anyone ending in a 5 or a 0. So there were some good stories in here, and then there were some not so particularly great stories in here. I'm going to say that we have I believe the comic book writing premiere of Mr. Danny DeVito, who you may recall played the Penguin in Batman Returns. I believe Joel Schumacher directed that one. It's one with Penguin, obviously, and it's a Christmas movie. You can watch it right around now. Watch it. Catwoman, Penguin, Christmas movie. Yeah. Anywho, some of the standout stories. One, check out the Penguin one for it's Penguin and Catwoman. And just for the fact that it's so surreal in what its subject matter is. But like legit, the Penguin and Catwoman plan a heist to rid the world of COVID, to vaccinate everyone against COVID. The Poison Ivy story has her up to her old ecological terrorist, basically that stuff. But she ends up being kind of soft on a girl with particularly blonde hair, because the girl reminds her of Harley. Other standouts, let me tell you, the Ra's al Ghul story happens, and then right after that is the Talia al Ghul story, and there's this moment, and both of them are really good stories. And there's this moment in the Talia al Ghul story where you get these panels next to each other that kind of show her face, and it starts stern, and then it gradually like works away to this this very like soft expression on her face. And basically she's first seeing her father, and then she's seeing Batman, and then she's seeing Damien, and it's like it's grown from being really coarse to being like like there's some issue of her there. There's some like part of her there that does have a traditional, mother's love, I guess, mother caring, maternal thing going on, even though she is probably a really shitty human being and a really shitty mother. I mean, considering Damien, and how he feels about his mother, his grandfather, and everything. So, but it's a standout story. It's really good. And it's kind of like one of these things where it's like you have this woman that's like going up through the ranks of this organization that has been just men leading it, and now she leads it. So that's pretty cool. So moving right along, we have Wonder Woman, the 2021 annual. Oh, just going back to the DC villains. If you're sleeping on it, um, I don't know if it's necessarily worth spending the $10, or in my case, I got the special cover, the $11 ticket price. Um, but if you particularly like those villains, like there's a cute Mad Hatter story in there. If you particularly like these villains, if you're particularly into the DC villains, especially the ones that are in the stories, you might want to go ahead and pick that up, but it's not anything that's really going to be a big deal, despite the fact that the Poison Ivy story does tease that there's more Poison Ivy to come in 2022. That's one thing that you can pick up from the Poison Ivy story. Anyways, Wonder Woman annual, 2021 annual. So I actually was doing okay with this one. I've been considering dropping Wonder Woman for some time, and I did recently do some drops. You're gonna see that I'm not reviewing as many of the titles that I used to review anymore. I'm not reviewing Suicide Squad. I'm not reading Teen Titans Academy anymore. Those are two. Uh, Justice League, the main Justice League title, I'm not doing that one anymore. But yeah, I've been considering it with Wonder Woman. But then you find out that you've got Nubia coming out. Nubia has been fantastic. You got the Wonder Woman event coming up, and Wonder Woman's getting an event. It's not just Batman getting events anymore, which he gets a shit ton, but Wonder Woman is getting an event. And this issue, if you're interested in reading the Wonder Woman event that's coming up, the Trial of the Amazons, you're going to want to pick this up and not sleep on it, because it does give you a little bit of a background into possibly what's going to be going on. We know kind of the how and why and how that will go down. See, Diana meets Alton, the survivor. It's an albino looking dude that claims that the Amazons kicked his people off the Themyscira eons ago. Okay. And they've just been waiting in like a submarine kind of situation ever since then to get it back. He gets a little man-handy with Diana, and they fight. Then he blows up a museum display of the Themyscira history, and he runs off, and she's left wondering, like, what's the deal, yo? You know, what's up with that? She's kind of dealing with the whole idea of coming back to life, and dealing with what this guy's done, and then dealing from, you know, everything like that happened that she's been through, like in the afterlife too, as well. And so she's kind of she meets for lunch with Etta Candy, and she's kind of like sitting there trying to like divide and conquer out loud with, you know, powwowing. God, I just said powwow. That's horrible. She is, excuse me, I am so sorry I said that. Anyways, she is sitting there and she's having a meeting with Etta, and Etta's like, you know, I don't know, you know, and then they both end up getting texts, you know, drawing them away. Well, Etta, she gets drawn back to her work, and Diana gets text messages from this dude, this albino dude that's claiming that the Themyscira was his people's home before it was the Amazons' home. He says he's going to text her, basically egging her on to come back to the Themyscira. And at the end of the annual, you get the idea that that is exactly where she's headed. It's all kind of really confusing, and I'm going to tell you why. Because at the end of the last Wonder Woman issue, she was on a plane on her way to the I think it was like the Netherlands like area, like Norway area, like something like that, to return Ziegfeld's sword to his grave, because he gave her the sword to help her and she wants to return it to his grave. So she was on a plane with Deadman and they were on their way there, and she's looking outside the window of the plane and she's seeing a bunch of Wonder Women, like, looking like her, like, flying everywhere. That was where we last had Wonder Woman. And now all of a sudden we've got this issue here where she's, we don't know what happened. We don't know what happened there. But she's not on the plane anymore, and she's not even, like, thinking about that shit. Like, what happened? Anyways, I'm beginning to wonder if this is one of those things where it's just like everything is going to be out of continuity, out of like fucking order, like, and we just get to figure it out later. Is that the deal? Is that what's going on? Because speaking of things out of order, let me tell you about the next Fear State Omega. Batman Fear State Omega. Okay, alright. So this is going to be, hopefully, when I talk about this here, this is hopefully going to be the thing that brings you all to my channel on Friday to hear me talk about it. So I'm guessing the whole thing with Omega is just kind of like taking everything from Fear State and putting it in a box, putting a top on, wrapping up with a pretty little bow. I think the climax we were supposed to have, that we kind of got, but then kind of didn't, happen in the last issue of Batman, but then shouldn't have happened yet. Oh my goodness. Anywho, we'll talk about that Friday. Major issues of continuity, story structure between all the different tie-ins, and confusion. But we'll talk about that more. How you can accept the confusion and how you can get past it and still maybe enjoy parts of it, but also we're going to talk about how broken it also kind of was. We're going to talk about the parts that were broken. We're going to talk about the parts that weren't broken. And here we go. We have basically the epilogue of everything that happened throughout the whole Fear State. We find out that, but I think we all learned something, and we all became better people. That's like the end of Wayne's World, where it's like, isn't it nice that we've all become better people? And they do the fish fin thing. Okay, I might be aging myself here, but I think somebody out there knows exactly what I'm talking about. Wayne's World, fish fin. Yeah, you know. Okay, so anyway, Scarecrow's taking a little trip to his next spot where he's going to be living, and he has a special escort, and that escort is Batman. Yay! He's getting a first class trip in the Batmobile, for crying out loud. Okay. Huh? That'd be cool. Except for the fact that he's Scarecrow and he's going to the new Arkham Tower. So like I said, we're putting epilogues on all these stories, and we're building again on James Tinian's major characters and creations. This is obviously, this is the last thing he's writing on Batman, at least for this time. This is his major swan song, for better or for worse. we've got major points brought up involving Clown Hunter. Where's he going after this? Ghostmaker is going. Clown Hunter's going with Ghostmaker, etc., etc. We have Ivy basically telling Bella to go fuck off, telling her to leave because, well, quite rightly, Ivy is kind of a little bit upset that Bella took that part of her that was, that kind of like that feeling part of her away from her that allowed her to, work through things. Otherwise, she's just relaxing, maxing and relaxing with Harley at this point. Molly is taking one for the team. Basically, she is basically taking one for the whole Insanity Collective and going to jail. She accepted, some plea deals, and that's where that is right now. So basically, what James Tynion has done is he's taken a person that knows what Batman's identity is and put them in jail. I just came to that thought just now. Like, I didn't think that earlier in the week when I read this, but that's exactly what's happened. That's exactly what's happened. Yeah. Anywho, Scarecrow is now going to be under the watchful eye of Dr. Chase Meridian. Yes, folks, you heard that right. Dr. Chase Meridian, the doctor who was in Batman Forever with Val Kilmer. That's okay. That's okay. I don't mind that so much. I don't mind. I'm not one of these people that hates the Batman movies that were not Michael Keaton and Tim Burton or Joel Schumacher. I don't hate them. I don't particularly love them, but I don't hate them. So anyways, Batman is himself looking to the future and to the changing face of Gotham, and he does seem hopeful, at least. Maybe I am too. We've got new Batman writers coming on. They're going to be introducing us to a new villain, Abyss, so that's coming next week. Moving on, we have the Human Target Book 2. This art in this is just off the freaking hook, man. Off the hook. And normally, I am not the biggest fan of Mr. Tom King's writing, considering Supergirl is another one I dropped off of that reading list. But this is pretty darn good. Let me tell you why. So, let me find my notes here. Yeah, okay. So, the Human Target gets a visit from Ice, a character from the Justice League International. Take a wild guess on what her superpower is. Okay. They take a ride to the beach, and she talks to him about who she is and how she was contacted by Doc that he had contacted in the end of the last issue, of the first issue. And she tells him about how she will help him figure out who poisoned him. And the thing is here's the deal. Yeah, our hero here is the human target. What she doesn't know is that he impersonated Doc and called her and told her all the stuff that she already knows. Because he wanted to see how she would react. Because Lex had already let him know that she might be the person that might have a grudge with him, with against Lex. It's one of those things where it's like, keep your enemies close and shit, that kind of thing. Because she has said that she will help him, and he has agreed to allow her basically to be there to help him. He thinks that she either did it, or he thinks she either did it, or that she is protecting the person that did. Anyways, moving on. Great issue. Like I said, great art. I am intrigued to keep going. Like I said, there was anything really bad that I read this week. Some stuff better than others. So the next one we're going to talk about is my only Marvel issue here, and that's Venom 2. This is a story kind of mostly completely centered around Dylan. So this is written by Ron V, whom I just adore as a writer. He's one of my faves right now because he's been doing Catwoman, Swamp Thing, and now this. And I know people that have been really enjoying the Justice League Dark run. That's not something I've gotten into, but they've been really enjoying it. They really hope that he will be back on for more. But this, like I said, is Venom 2 is focusing on Dylan, and he is on the move. Okay, so Dylan, if you recall, just watched his father blow up, and Dylan is listening to the last message his dad left him, and the dad keeps on telling him, don't bond with Venom. Whoops, too late. So they are looking for someone named Archer, and they get attacked in that quest. But the fortunate part of that all is that one of the people that's been trailing them after a certain point is Archer. So Archer helps them get out of that jam, and is now in and working with them. So we'll have to see what happens in the next time. With next time. Okay. It's good. I'm enjoying it. It's my second Venom issue, my first Venom run. So, I'm into it. I'm into it, guys. I'm dealing with this. This is pretty cool. So the next we're going to talk about is Justice League Incarnate issue 1. We've been waiting on this ever since we had Justice League, not Justice League, Infinite Frontier, a couple months ago. Justice League Incarnate just started. This is issue 1 of 5. Issue 1 of 5. So what I thought was really kind of funny is that there was this thing that's happened before, I know, but Marvel has this thing called the Squadron Supreme, which is kind of like them kind of like doing their own version of the Justice League. And DC has the Retaliators, which is kind of their Avengers, and they exist on one of the Earths. They exist on Earth 8. So basically, anyways, Tartanus, which is really just Thanos, but on DC, on Earth 8, is killing Retaliators left and right. Just Incarnate shows up, and they are not welcomed by the Retaliators because the Retaliators are not down with the multiverse. But they want to try and help anyways, and they get the help of Dr. Multiverse. And that's around the time that Darkseid shows up to try to take Earth 8 from Tartanus. While they are fighting and they're distracted, Justice League Incarnate does their thing and hides the crack in the multiverse. That's so groovy because, well, we're trying to see, but anyways, it fails. Darkseid notices and moves forward just in time, and the Justice League Incarnate follows him, along with the Dr. Multiverse, which is obviously a send-up of Doctor Strange. So at the Justice League Incarnate base that they have right now, they get a special visitor in the form of Orion, Darkseid's son, who has a bone to he has a bone to pick with Darkseid, and he is already take over everything, and he barely knows anyone, it seems. Like, I'm here now, so I'll take over kind of thing. I mean, at least he brought his puppy with him. Yeah, give him that. He brought friends. He brought furry buddies with him. And he's just basically demanding that he takes over because he wants the opportunity and he wants the credit for defeating his father. Well, he's got some major daddy issues. At least he brought the puppy. We'll see what happens. Anywho, the next issue we're going to talk about is Wonder Girl. Yay! Wonder Girl number 5. Guys, I'm taking Wonder Girl. I am. I'm digging it. I like it. Sorry. I like it. Even though they make us wait for freaking ever to get it. They're starting to speed up now. Starting to get more of a regular cycle here. Maybe. Fingers crossed. So this is the big, will she or won't she drink the ambrosia? And she won't drink it. She won't do it. Because she basically kind of wised up and she's sitting there and like, after talking to people, after, doing her thing, she's like, why would I want to be your slave, Hera? Why would I want to be your slave? Why would I want to be your personal executioner? She does it with flair, style, wit, and after beheading a bunch of guards. Quite frankly, really, that's exactly how it happens. She does it with wit and after beheading a bunch of guards with a big old sword. I'm liking this girl. I look at her. Okay, so I also refuse. She basically does it after beheading a bunch of guards, and she calls out to Jerry the Pegasus, and she jumps on Jerry's back and then just starts wreaking havoc over all of Olympus. Okay, so guys, a god kills Jerry, supposedly. And of course, that freaks out and really pisses Yara off, right? So we'll see where that goes. She's like, fuck if I'm gonna join you now, I wasn't gonna join you before, but now you killed Jerry. I'm gonna kick your ass again. Okay, so then back on Earth, okay, back in Brazil, Cassie is learning all about this new group of Amazons she didn't know about before, that Yara is descended from. And she finds out that about an imbalance, in safety and everything like that. And this is something that has been talked about in the Nubia series. So if you're reading Nubia and you're reading Wonder Girl, you're gonna be able to figure it out. But if you're not reading Nubia but reading Wonder Girl, it's in Nubia. They need a guard for Doom's doorway, and all the stuff happening in Wonder Woman, with the albino dudes probably involved as well. Medusa's running amok. Yeah, so all hell is about to break loose on Themyscira. So the Amazons that are in Brazil, they, are basically like, here's the thing. There's an imbalance. We're going to have Yara return, and then we're going to march on Themyscira. So Cassie is a little bit anxious about this, and what they start trying to tell her is like, no, it's not what you think. It's not what you think. But she's not reassured yet until they go into a tent and they are greeted by the presence of one Donna Troy. She is one of their warriors. They've annexed her or something. I'm sure we'll get more explanation in the next issue, but literally it is like, it's literally like the book is fighting me here. It's literally last page reveal. So, yeah. But I'm excited to see where that goes because obviously it is all signs are pointing to this Trial of Amazons event that Wonder Woman is finally getting. So awesome. Okay, so another annual that we got this past week that I read was the 2021 annual for Batman Detective Comics. Very nice, very nice, very nice. I am loving how comics books, especially DC Gotham comics, are really tackling the idea of mental health and mental health awareness. Um, and they're doing it, doing it well. Okay. So we're going to have an event. I'm sorry. We're going to have an event. But it is going to be, if I'm understanding correctly, it's going to be just Detective Comics because in Batman, we're going to have Batman's going to be leaving. He's going to go out of town involving this issue, this 4-part issue. We're going to have a weekly event. It's going to be in Detective Comics. And it's going to have to do with the new Arkham Tower that Scarecrow's going to. A bunch of other people are in, and Chase Meridian is going to be involved. Plus, basically, the whole Bat family. Including, from what I understand, Harley Quinn, Batwoman, some Nightwing, the Batgirls, all that. And it's going to be a weekly thing, and it's coming in January. And that's fine, I guess. I guess fine. Another goddamn event, but you know it's only because it's only going to be in that. It's only going to be in that title, if I understand correctly. And because if the promise that is built within the Detective Comics annual, I think that's gonna be pretty cool because you have Batman and Nightwing basically, throughout the whole thing, like trying to find this one guy, debating the needs of mental health in society and the way people should view mental health and all that in society. And so Batman is not necessarily getting it, where Nightwing is like, no, people need help. People need better resources. And, you know, Batman actually, kind of just sits there and like, even though he doesn't quite get it, what's really cool is that Batman is actually starting to listen to Nightwing, and he's hoping that this Arkham Tower, the Chase Meridian is dealing with, and all this other stuff that things might get better. He's being a little bit more hopeful. It's a more hopeful Batman than we're used to, but it's pretty all right. It's pretty all right. We'll have to see what happens. The event is called Shadows of the Bat. It's coming in January. We'll have to see what happens. But I did really enjoy this. I really enjoyed the focus on mental health and mental health resources. Moving right along. Next, we're going to talk about the Robin 2021 annual. Lots of annuals, guys. This is not even the last one we're going to talk about. Got one more after this. Anyways, so Robin 2021 annual. I gotta tell you, I really did enjoy this. This is pretty darn good. So a little bit outside of chronological order here because with rights, this should have come out before the most. It should have come out around issue 6. We're in issue 8 now with Robin. So we just read issue 8. Yeah, we just read issue 8. So if you kind of approach this like it's a, flashback to what was Robin doing when he was coming back to the island from being off of Lazarus Island with his grandfather and then with the Robins. Yeah, if you look at it that way, it's still a really good story, really good fun. Basically, what we've got is we've got Damien discovering that Dick Grayson in the present that he got him or gave him, he put a tracker. And he's like, oh, so that's really cool. I can use this tracker to reverse do computer thingies to get into Batman's computer. Okay, cool. I'm going to accept that. I'm going to accept that because it moves the story along. Yeah. So Damien basically hacks into Batman's computer and starts getting intel on his different opponents and why they might be there. So it kind of falls into the whole, Damien smells a rat thing with Mother Soul and the whole damn thing. So there we go. So basically this is a really cool origin story for there's cute little small things for most of the characters, but there's more focus put on Flatline, and I think that's supposed to mean that that Damien is kind of sweet on her, but I don't know. They're certainly kind of pushing it that way, with a lot of the art and everything like that that's been out there. That of course, the one Damien is going to have a crush on is going to be the one that, upon meeting him, fought with him and tore out his heart. She stole his heart. So yeah, that was pretty good. That was pretty good. I for one am looking for the end of this tournament. If you read number 8, you know exactly what's going on at this point. It ended on an action scene. So next month we'll definitely be continuing the action scene, I believe. So I hope so, because well, what else are you gonna do? So we have 2 comics left to talk about. I've taken up a lot of your time if you've been watching this video because there was a lot to talk about. Sorry. But next thing we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about Action Comics. Action Comics number 1037. They're on War World. A Mongol run amok. Okay. So the United Planets, they suck. The Justice League, they suck. Basically, everyone just decided they're going to sit back and let Superman and the Authority go to War World. And when it's, it's run on radiation from a red sun. I don't know if anyone, knew that. Anybody know that? Anybody in the Justice League or the United Planets or anyone know that? Because they just... Superman didn't know it. At least I don't think he did. Because we all know what red sun radiation does. Okay, but he's there. He wants to free the slaves, right? And they have no idea what it's like to be free. So when they're told to cheer for their oppressor, basically, they comply. They have no idea what it's like to be free. Most of them might have been born into this slavery. Mongol goes around talking about how he is better than his father. Got it. Yeah, Mongol that was versus Mongol that is. Got it. Got it. You have a big ego. I hear ya. Okay. I'm out of tea. Good thing my video's almost over. Okay. So they are all fighting, and they're all fighting the Mongols team, and everybody is getting really jacked up or dead, right? And lots of people getting dead. It is not looking good for the team, and you have the United Planets just watching this from afar, and they get pictures. The last thing they watch is Mongol stabbing through Superman. So they're just going to go ahead and accept and write it on their level that Superman is kaputti. The Clark Kent Superman, obviously. Obviously. Should go without saying, but I just want to specify the Clark Kent Superman. We still have John Kent on Earth. Anyways. Yeah, well, that would explain why John had made a lot of mention over the fact that to his father that once he goes up there, basically the records of him stop. Because the United Planets has accepted that Clark Kent is no more. But we don't know. We don't know. We'll find out next month. So that brings us to the issue of the night. And if you know how, you know what annuals are coming out, you know what I usually read. You could probably guess it is this little baby right here, the Nightwing 2021 annual. I'm talking too much. My throat is dry. Ugh. Nightwing 2021 annual. A nice little story about brohood of Nightwing and Jason, where they do some flashback stuff, where Alfred got Dick to help Jason Robin's spirits when Batman had sidelined him. Has that little part of the aspect, but the reason for bringing this little flashback up is that their bond helped Nightwing know that when he saw video of Jason shooting FBI agents and their informant, that it wasn't really Jason. And so he goes to find Jason. Him and Barbara are watching the video. And so he goes to find Jason. And they figure it out that it is through, them working together and detective work and everything like that, that it was actually Preston Clayface, and he was hired by a drug lord to impersonate Jason Todd, impersonate Red Hood, and he is responsible for a lot of stuff, and that informant was going to be that got shot and killed was going to be testifying against this particular drug lord. Now, what you also find out is this particular drug lord was responsible for a drug overdose that Jason's mom went through when he was a child prior to becoming Robin. So it's a little bit personal for Jason. So when they encounter him, Jason gets a little bit wild. And, it's Nightwing that's able to be like, you have to stop. And then like there's this moment that's like, oh, it's like this like, oh my goodness moment where Jason is just like taking all of this pent up like frustration, like what happened to his mom, what happened to all those people, and just going at this guy, and he won't stop until Nightwing yells Robin. And I swear to God, I was gonna be like, when he did that. I kept it together though. Somewhat. Um Guys, if you've watched the channel, I love Nightwing and I love Jason Todd and I love it. I love this issue. I loved it so much. It was so great. It was just, it was just really great story to have that they're able to, because Dick believed in Jason and all the, you know, good steps he's been making and everything like that. And they were able to pull together and figure it all out and make everything better. So I really like that. And that's why, over all the really good stuff that did come out this week, that is why it became issue of the week. So I have kept you guys long enough. Oh my God. Thank you. If you watched this entire video, I salute you. Wrong hand. Salute you. You are awesome. I talked a lot. It happens. It happens. But anyway, so let's get on with this here, guys. Okay, so what's coming up? You've got this video tonight. Tomorrow you've got a haul video. And on Friday, 6:30 Central Time, I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna be live, and I'm gonna be talking about Batman Fear State, a retrospective chronological order as much as possible, because it doesn't really happen that easy. And we'll talk about that. And we'll talk about everything I liked, everything I didn't like. And that's going to be 6:30. Please come check it out. It's going to be live. Come in the chat. I want to hear what you guys have to say as well. I will be interacting with you guys as well. And I'm excited. Come on down. If you haven't liked the channel yet, subscribe, all that stuff. Do that so then you guys know when I go live and when I post videos and all that. So everything's good. This has been the officially unofficial geek weekly comic roundup spoilertastic. I am Carrie Quinn. I'm your host. As always, I'm the one here. I'm the one slinging those webs of comic content for you. The pop culture fantasticness for you. Movie reviews, TV reviews, comic reviews, book reviews, all that stuff. Come here for that. So be kind, be wonderful, be awesome, be yourselves, keep reading, and because that's why we're here. And be awesome. I'll be seeing you guys until next time. Bye.